Hello, in this video I'm going to be discussing, after buying a used car, what are some of the things that I would do. And I thought of 11 good things that I would do pretty much as soon as I can once I've bought a used car, particularly if it's done lots of miles and you're not sure whether or not it's had good servicing. And even if it's had some good service and good service records, still I would still do it. Right, so number one is I would try and find out as much information as I can about the car. So sometimes there are online manuals for newer cars, such as my Ford Focus. This is downloaded from emanual.com, and this one here is what you call an over file, and it's got all the Fords on it. So mine's a Ford Focus. That's one way. Some other ones, like for my Honda, they come in PDF. They're much harder to find the information with a PDF. You just have to keep scrolling until you find the one you want, but there's lots of information here. You can also, of course, look for things like Haynes manual. This is a job I did a long time ago. I wanted to do when I went on the van. This is a car I've had, and as you all know, my Ford Mondeo, and my new second-hand purchase is the Honda Civic. So I've already got the Haynes manual for that, and it's already been helpful. And in fact, reading this has given me tips on how to work on my Ford as well, because there's some really good tips in here. Right, so that's number one. That's what I should do. Let's cover from 1 to 11. So the next one is number 2. Do the tracking on your car, or the wheel alignment. Now, in cars, modern cars, quite often they're very low, and you may have to take it to a specialist to do, or alternatively take this rubber mud guard off the front, because that gets to take it to a dealer, or not a dealer, a garage to do it, because these cars, particularly this one, is so low that it's really hard to use this tracking device, track ace device. But I managed to make it about 26, 27 toe out. Should be at 0. Right. Number 3, make a note of all the details of your car, such as the VIN number, which is here normally, or here, the engine number if you can see it, the registration, the index of your car, of course, anything useful that is printed. Sometimes there's a label down here, and that's telling me tyre pressures and what tyres. Sometimes that gives me the engine number, VIN number of your car. Also take a scanned copy of your logbook, or your vehicle's owner's manual, vehicle's owner's certificate, and keep a record of that. Number 4, I'm going to change the water, the coolant in the car. Before that, I'm going to put some of this sealant in there to prevent any head gaskets that are ready to go. It seal it from preventing it from blowing, because it's a 250,000 mile car. So I've got deionized water, I've got antifreeze. Number 5, change the engine oil and oil filter. And on this Honda Civic Mark 8 2007, here's the filter, and the recommended thickness is 0W and 30, but because this is a slightly older car, I'm using a 5W and 30, higher mileage, and I've also got 10W 40, so it's a mixture of the two, because the thicker oil will help to seal the piston rings. Number 6, service your brakes. Now, servicing your brakes will, of course, naturally allow you to find any missing things, like these little shims missing, what your brake pad condition's like. I've just looked at this car first time, it's got some brake pads left in it. Also, whoever put it on used a air gun last wheel change, so I knew the wheel was going to come off, but I had to use a breaker bar, that long a breaker bar, to take the nuts off. Can even do it with one of these. So also, servicing the brakes will allow you to check for things like play in the wheel. general condition, because you can't really see it. If you need to change the tracking, which I've already checked, change the tracking. Lots of stuff. You can check the strut if there's any oil. Nearly got disappointed there. Thought it was oil. No, it's glossy. No, it's fine. And you can check the bearings. Check how it rotates. And on a right hand drive steering wheel car, you bleed the right hand front, because I'm going to do that as well, servicing the brakes. Left hand front, right hand rear, and then lastly right hand left rear. So do the front first, right, left, then do the rear, right and left. Don't forget to do the rear brakes. They're the drum brakes type of brakes like this is in the Ford Focus, then do that also. So what we're looking for is, hold it up, how much of this is, how much of a lip there is on this, and there's already, it's kind of building up to be a bit of a lip, a tiny bit of a lip. It kind of slopes, it's a fraction of a lip, tiny bit, still quite thick. So check that, and check for any broken springs. Good idea, that's what I'm doing now. Before there's any ever broken springs, you take a photograph of it to see where all the springs lie and how they all connect to each other. Sometimes there's a hole at the back of here, directly opposite where the ratchet is, where you can adjust the ratchet or adjust the amount of handbrake force you get by poking a screwdriver through. In this case there isn't any, unless you can do it via no, you can't. There's a studs fitting there, you cannot do that. So sometimes it's worth taking it apart, but not today. And of course measure and write down the thickness of the pads. And these are number 7. If you want, check the manual transmission fluid, or if you're automatic, change your automatic fluid. Now on the Honda Civic there's a drain plug just here, 2.2 turbo diesel, and this one up here is the refill plug. It's just like a plastic plug. Undo that and nut. I prized it open a bit, and then a lot of oil came out, so I thought it's got plenty of oil in it. Well, I didn't let a lot come out. So. Number 8, you're probably going to have to add aircon fluid. So run the engine, low port. Remember my trick, if it gets stuck, release some gas from there and, well, turn all the air cons on high. Low port it, if it gets stuck, shake it. If it gets stuck, release some gas, because usually that's what's stopping it from working. And whilst you're down at the exhaust level, because you're changing the oil or changing the water, spray down the exhaust, especially the vulnerable joint areas. Number 10, use an OBD2 scanner to scan for errors and any useful information you can find, such as what the engine is. I think this was K something. So that's where the OBD2 port is, on the just where the in the UK models. Right hand drive, this is the clutch pedal. It's the right hand side of the car, steering wheel's on the right. The left has got nothing. Alright, so check for any errors, downloaded trouble codes, and any kind of car trouble codes, which are not as important. Thank you. I just want to add a note on this one. It is definitely worth checking the trouble codes, because when I looked at this particular section that dealt with ABS, it said that there was a permanent problem with the left rear wheel sensor. Now, as you can see, I'm going very slowly, but the oil sensor is absolutely fine. So I was going to go and just get a new wheel sensor for the left rear wheel, but the thing is, there's no point. It's working absolutely fine. So sometimes when people make changes, they haven't got the necessary equipment on it. And remember, even though they've changed the sensor, this includes any garage, is to just reset the trouble code, right? So definitely worth it. Number 11, change the air filter, change the cabin filter. Now I just want to show you the state of this cabin filter that someone had in there. I think it's charcoal laid. So this is kind of normal bad, right? It should have been done earlier, but look at the state of the air filter. I'm just going to show you the state of the air filter. How can it ever get so bad? How can an air filter ever get so bad? So make sure you change that, because you do not know when was the last time it was changed. Yeah.